Cooperative Governance Minister Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma has activated the National Disaster Management Center to support the Jagersfontein community. Our reporter Pelane Phakgadi is live in the area for us tonight. Pelane, many of those residents, of course, just trying to really get to grips with what has happened over the last 24 hours. What have you found and seen since you arrived there today?
Well, I can tell you that it has become a little bit difficult for the emergency personnel here to work because the mudslides have really engulfed the Eskom power station here in the area, so that we do understand that there's work to try and ensure that they bring it back to life. There's no power whatsoever in the area. The power that is there is run by generators, so a little bit difficult for the officials here to conduct their job, to try and find those missing 3 or 4 people, because there are those 4 people who remain unaccounted for, and with others still as hospital, as you've already put it in your introduction. And Kathy, I can tell you right now that one of the matters that have been confirmed, at least to Newzroom Afrika at this point, is that there has been another declaration of a deceased, and this time around we do understand adding to the number that was a single person who had unfortunately succumbed to their injuries, but now there is a second person that has been found, and unfortunately that they've succumbed as well to the injuries that they may have occurred during this particular mudslide. So now here at this particular corner that we are at, I'm just going to ask Jagersfontein to just show you around. There were quite a number of vehicles when we arrived here a little bit earlier on, but the rescue personnel, even including private search and rescue personnel, are here in their numbers to try and put that particular support to the National Disaster Management team that is currently already on site, and the SAP is of course also putting a watchful eye. We do know that as far as the network towers themselves, many of the operators are down. Vodacom had managed to come up currently with their generators. They've put that up as well so that they can be able to operate. The people in the area as well as the officials could be able at least to communicate. We do know that our other giants such as Casualty and MTN, they're still working on alternative means to ensure that they repower their towers so that there can be communication in the area. So the electricity matter making it a little bit difficult, seeing some private search and rescue officials now departing, perhaps even preparing to come back tomorrow to further assist the locals here. But the Premier of the province as well as the Cogta MEC are on site, and they're on the other side of the JOC, which is the Joint Operations Center that is at the Diamond Hospital, and we'll be making our way there to get further details.
Pelane, as it stands, there aren't really concrete figures in terms of the number of people or estimated number of people that would be in this town. Are rescue officials able to give a sense of how many people they think would still be perhaps stuck in their homes or even fall under those considered missing right now?
Definitely, and that's why you see them here in their numbers to try and continue with that operations, although difficult, as I've already pointed out, because other families, those who have been rushed to hospital altogether, they may not be even in a position to talk to say that I have not seen my son, my daughter, my uncle or so. So those numbers are really expecting that they will be rising as more people are able to realize that their loved ones remain unaccounted for at this current stage, with those who have already been accounted for currently in hospital. So there will be that frantic search at the hospitals from other family members to try and understand if they have missing loved ones, then they can try to understand whether they are receiving medical attention at this very stage. But the personnel here, as far as the search and rescue, we do understand that they are prepared to work overnight to assist those who may still be trapped at their homes, if at all, and as well as the issue around the searching for those who remain unaccounted for. We do also know that, as we have already put a little bit earlier on about the Cogta MEC being in the area, there's scores of people who have been displaced, and the aim now is to try and find alternative homes for them, for at least for the evening, and then make other long-term temporary means for their stay, at least until they are either able to come back to the area or find alternative places that they can be able to stay at. So quite a little bit of one could say a slump, but driving in here quite messy. The vehicles that we're using, you have to use a high rider of some sort to at least be able to get to where we are at this point. Small vehicles vehicles just completely stuck, and the mudslides having really swept away, swept right on the tar road. So small vehicles in that instance, okay, are unable to even cross to the point where we are. So high riders and your 4x4s, your SUVs are the only vehicles that are currently able to go into this particular town, and we do know that that is the only way. And after some hours where the emergency personnel had to force their way into the area so that they can be able to help those who remain unaccounted for.
Pelane, as far as we understand, this is something that couldn't have been anticipated, at least by members of the community. We don't know at this stage how much the mine knew or even anticipated the risk of that dam wall collapsing. What has it taken to be able to pull resources together for what is largely described as a small mining town? And how dependent will they be on the interventions and the support that will come from the provincial and national governments?
Look, Kathy, I'm not even going to be beating around the bush as far as that is concerned. We've seen it in KwaZulu-Natal during the floods. We've seen it during the unrest. We've seen it in Virginia as well when there was a mudslide. It is always the private search and rescue operations which do come very much handy with the kind of machinery that they do have, the joint operating centers that they are able to put that through, and as well in conjunction with the municipal and or the provincial emergency personnel. So they are able to assist the current issues as they are. So there's been a number of them who are already on site that we've seen, who are private search and rescue officials here to assist the SAPS and as well as the K9 unit, which are very much critical into ensuring that they are able to assist in finding people who may be very much trapped in the mudslide. So the private personnel are here in their numbers to try and assist the government while they are pulling together some of their resources. It could be across the country, as we've seen in KwaZulu-Natal, where Gauteng, Limpopo, Eastern Cape, Western Cape had to forward some of their personnel to try and ensure that they are able to assist the KZN department. And here it's no different. We've always seen quite a number of vehicles, some of them even showing the number plates of the registration of Gauteng to show that they've heard in the early hours of this morning about an emergency and they've made their way here. Now, to go back to your initial point that you put out about not being anticipated, we have the mayor here, that is Pelane, he earlier, about 2 years ago, actually put on a status on his Facebook to say that that particular wall and its tailings looks very much unstable, and if it was to burst, the community in the area might as well be in danger. 2 years later, it had happened. So about government being unaware about the issue, and as well as the mine tailings, the tailings on that particular dam being unstable, I'm sure it's something else that they might want to talk about so that they can be able to get an understanding, actually, of what may have led to it. Yes, a pipe has burst, but as well as to what may really have had it. Is it an issue around the mine being abandoned at some point, as other reports have already stated? So those are some of the elements I believe that Gwede Mantashe, perhaps maybe even tomorrow when his HOD or perhaps even himself arrive in the area, could be able to try and uncover to get to the bottom of the matter.
All right, Pelane, before I let you go, let's just run through those casualties again, at least the final confirmation that you're getting from authorities there today.
About 2 deceased that we did get, and the number of people who are currently in hospital remains at, I think, around 42 that we also get. So those are the numbers that are coming out here in Jagersfontein.
Pelane Phakgadi, our reporter, out on that story. You can expect more updates from him right here on Newzroom Afrika.